All right, guys. Well, welcome to part 2 of the fog light install on my 2020 Subaru STI. I just wanted to start off by prefacing that this video series, if you will, is being provided for informational use only. Just showing you what I did and how it worked for myself. As far as me working on cars, I'm pretty proficient mechanically and electrically, so I'm pretty confident in my abilities to do what I did. However, if you are deficient in the electrical department, I do not recommend that you guys do this. So do it to your own risk, because if you cross wires and connect things to the wrong things, bad things can happen to your car. And especially with these expensive STIs, you don't want to mess it up. So proceed at your own risk. Again, this is for informational use only. If you proceed with this, you do it at your own risk. So there's my little liability thing. All right. Okay, so with that JDM kit, we got most of the stuff installed. The only thing left over is this wiring harness, some of this foam to prevent from rattling, to protect the cables, and here's another cable and some wire ties. Not exactly sure where those are going to go, but what we're going to go ahead and do is install these onto the bumper. And hey, a little bonus footage here. We're going to do an unboxing because I haven't opened this yet. So what did we get? That's what we got. I don't know if I'm going to run these during the daytime. These are white lights with this amber backing that's always on if you want to go that route. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. I'll just have to kind of play it by ear once I have everything installed and see if it complements the LED strip or not. It remains to be seen. Being the USA, big bonus. All right, go ahead and hold on the camera, Josh. And let's get that fitted foam packaging. Take these out. Metal, aluminum housing. The bracketry here that you adjust is like that ABS plastic. Here's your adjustments. So I tell you what, we'll go ahead and install one of these right now. So what we're going to need is two of these flange bolts, specific for installing these fog lamps, as well as the two nut thingamajiggies, whatever you call those things. So we just need 2 of each for each side, and it looks like that's a 10 millimeter, so we're good on the socket. So let's go over here to the bumper. I think for ease of application, we're going to go ahead and just down. Okay, so there's our part number for the nut, M6 nut. Go ahead and take that out. Pretty straightforward on this guy. You just take it. Are you getting this? Simply install it from the bottom up. I say simply. These suckers are, oh my goodness, the compression on these is incredible. Let me get a screwdriver. 1 second. Let's do that. So if it's really tight, just insert it, put your screwdriver in, and just use a little twisting motion to open it up. Like so. It's almost like I shouldn't have done that. Ay. Live and learn, right?
Looks like I just need to spin that sucker around. Yeah, I'm not really sure how this is going to go in there. Common sense tells me this should go in that way. Yeah, be a little careful, don't break off your little tabs. Alright. For whatever reason, it's not wanting to work. So we'll just turn it. I don't know if it's going to work going that way or not. Huh, interesting. Oh, let's just see. Let's just make sure this is going to fit. I'm not sure if I ordered the wrong ones or not. Okay, so I'll tell you what, these these sandwich nuts, these things were buried again in there. One, the clamping force was really tight on those. I tried as much as I could to jam a screwdriver up there to kind of spread it out a little bit, but it's under a lot of tension. As well as I had to chip away at the plastic on here because if I just use the guide, the guides on those, the hole was occluded. So as you can see, this one is a little bit occluded, but I think there's enough space up here to where I think that clamp is going to work its way in once I start tightening it. So you just take your fog lamp, there are two little slots, just drop it in. So that's why you only need two of these nut jobbies and 2 bolts for each side, because the inboards don't need it. So you just basically take these shoulder nuts, and if you want the part number I showed you earlier in the video, so just use your 10mm wrench to tighten those down, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so I am now got my switch in hand. Oh gosh, I kind of ripped up that. Let's see if I can. Hotel 4510 Foxtrot Juliet 000. Made in Thailand. Wonderful. So anyways, here's the fog light switch. JDM. And I've been told that somewhere, well, some of this gobbly-goo is my own doing. It's tied in with the Valentine 1 system and just various things I've added. But I've been told that the fog lamp switch harness is buried somewhere in here, taped to something. Now, I just removed this little panel here. So this is what you want to remove. It's just being held on by one screw, which is that guy. So you just need to Phillips head screwdriver, and then literally just pull it out. No problem. Luckily I didn't break any tabs or anything like that. And look at that. As I'm looking, there's your fog lamp switch wire. All right, we'll get that hooked up and continue on. All right, so here I am on the passenger side. Just remove the glove box and this whole glove box bracket, if you will, to expose these relays. Okay, we're gonna take our relay assembly. There's the part number. Oh gosh, now what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Okay, and we're gonna install it right here at the bottom most. Make sure I got it, getting it in there correctly. Alright, so there it is for the fog lamp. Alright, continuing on. Alright, so last night, couldn't work on the car much longer because it was so dark outside, so I went ahead and made my own fog light wiring harness with the correct plugs that I had shown you earlier. All that black stuff is just me marking it up. Now, when you go to make your wiring harness, make sure you give yourself ample room. So when you do drop your bumper at a future date, it could be on the ground so you can disconnect it. You make it too short and it turns into like a 3-person job. So just keep that in mind. I'm not really sure how I'm going to route this yet, but I'll get it figured out. Earlier I had stated that the wires had to run inside the cab to a fuse box. I was incorrect. It actually runs to your vehicle fuse box that's in your engine bay here. And specifically the part that we're looking at is that guy right there. So if you whip this out, you can pin it so you don't have to be splicing into wires. And as I had mentioned earlier, that's the one thing I want to avoid is splicing a bunch of wires together. So with that said, here's my wiring harness. So that black wire right there is going to be my ground, and the 2 yellow wires are going to be my power wires. And this blue one, I just went ahead and ran this extra set of wires just for future projects. This is going to go absolutely nowhere. But if this was like a WRX or an early model STI, this would be your turn signals. So might as well go ahead and utilize that that area in the plug for something else. And I'll show you exactly where it goes on the bumper here. So this is the OEM part wiring harness that I added to it. You don't really need to do this. I just wanted to add it to it, just I don't know, just to be a purist, I guess. But it plugs in right there. So for the most part, everything is mocked up and ready to go. I just need to test it by getting all the electrical connectors placed in the car. All right, get working on that and I'll shoot a video right thereafter. All right. All right, so what you see before you is a picture of that that assembly inside the engine bay fuse box. It's flipped upside down in this picture here, but pins 22 and 23, that shows you where your 12-volt power is going to come from for your fog lamps. They're both exactly the same pins. They both supply 12 volts. So it doesn't really matter which wire goes to which one, just make sure that you choose those 2 pins. Because the female plug that plugs into this top portion does have provisions for this last slot here, which obviously, as you can tell by the picture, does not have a pin site. So you do want to make sure that you do select the correct one. Now, as far as the orientation of this picture, the housing that you're seeing is actually flipped upside down in this picture. So when you look at it from the standpoint of your driver's side fender, what you're going to see is the underside of this. So you'll have to remove this entire assembly, kind of flip it upside down and orient your female plug to this so you make sure you get the correct pin locations. All right, guys, this, my friends, is the moment of truth. all this labor, all this money spent on this project. Did it work? Were the instructions that I followed correct? Was the placement of the relay correct? Was the placement of my power wire for the fog lights correct in the fuse box? Did everything get grounded correctly? Just a whole bunch of issues could possibly arise, but you know what? We're not going to freak out about it. So let's just take a look and see what we just did. So I got my little wiring harness ran. There's part of it there, the other part of it there. That's for the camera. I'm not going to mount anything because, of course, it's best to test it first to make sure everything works before you button everything up and have to rip it apart again. Okay, so I got everything, just hooked up the battery. Let's make sure everything's good to go. Obviously, I'm not putting anything back together until I can confirm that we are good to go. So let's jump in here and get this car started. All right. Still need to put that together. Okay, so from my understanding, you need to have the headlights on to test out the fog lights. Okay, so lights just came on. Now, the fog light switch. Okay, so there it is right there where my thumb is. Right now it's out. Let's push that baby in and let's go see if anything happened up front. And I see lights. Beautiful. And beautiful. I will say, if one of your lights does not come on, or both don't come on, before you rip everything apart, take a look at this this plug. This plug can be plugged in either way, so just flip it around and see if that works. Oh my goodness, I'm happy. All right, so I'm not sure if this is going to conclude this video as everything works, or if I'm going to do a video afterwards. That remains to be seen. But in the meantime, WCU WRX out.